Oh. Need that. Need that. Credit card. It's a company card, actually. Just
Oh, the break in a company card? Nice.
when we go out to dinners and stuff, I can be like, hey, put it on the company card.
Hat or no hat? Or
Oh, there's a third option? Okay, maybe I think hat, but maybe not that, whatever that is.
shout
Well,
out to Breakmatic. Just no.
shout out to Rockstrite.
Shout out to Rockstrite.
He was one of the few goats of our generation, or not my generation. Definitely not my generation. Yours, though, for
My
sure.
generation. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that, he made it out of the mud, got sponsors, got fame, got glory. He got everything he needs.
Wow. Well,
Well,
sometimes sponsors aren't enough.
sometimes sponsors aren't enough, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
What a segue.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh man. Well, I mean, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. That was like the jam of the year, bro. What are you talking about? The elephant, the graveyard.
Yeah, no, that's right. The
Yeah.
jam of the year that neither of us went to.
Neither of us went to, yeah. Yeah, I had work and I'm sure you had stuff too. Uh,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
sucked. It's like everybody was posting about it. Everybody who's anybody was there.
I know. What's crazy was Rad Anniversary was also this weekend.
Oh, dude, I didn't even hear about that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I was checking my phone like in between, like, because I was at a work event. So every time I had a moment, I was checking my phone. I was just seeing like, here's a line of people, and it like they were in like a warehouse, but that
Yo,
shit
that
looked.
shit looked epic.
This is a cultural milestone, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not an event that was on Break Connect, but it's just such a big event that I think you can't ignore it, right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm happy to talk about it. I mean,
yeah.
I if I could have gone, I would have gone regardless of it being a breaking it or not. Like that was probably I have two FOMO events in my life. It was that and Film Cypher.
And they've all happened for you in the last calendar
Year.
year.
Yeah, yeah. Don't get pets, guys.
Dude, yeah.
Don't get pets.
Yo, that Elephant Graveyard Jam though, like it's hard to capture the magic of an event twice. Like that's a feat in and of itself. So for that, fully applaud them. But you know how people talk about like, oh dude, you should have been there at B-Boy Summit back in '01. Like that was a real hip hop shit. Like this is our like B-Boy Summit, bro. When you think about it, that's what this is for this generation.
No.
Dude, yes.
Well, hold on. Let me say. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but the way I look at it is this is the evolution of a jam now. I think this is kind of like Film Cypher, Elephant Graveyard. They are what people want jams to be. And I can kind of start seeing the reason I don't want to compare it to what B-Boy Summit was is because like I guess because I look at B-Boy Summit as kind of like a legacy jam, to a degree. Even Freestyle Session kind of is there for me. And Elephant Graveyard did something wild because B-Boy Summit came out when there weren't really that many jams happening. So when the jam was happening, everybody went there because of scarcity.
Mm.
Elephant Graveyard happened in a sea of B-Boy jams, and it made it out the mud.
It did. It did, dude. And it's like it's one of those things where it's like it's a B-boy's. event. Like it's not trying to say like, oh, bring your girlfriend, bring, we
No, don't
got,
bring your girlfriend
yeah, don't bring your
unless she
girlfriend.
breaks.
Yeah, unless she breaks. Like no normie shit. This is like a breaker's dream. Like you want to see other super dope breakers. Obviously they brought up Style Invaders. I don't know if they brought him out, but they came out. It's
Well,
probably
I know
because
Morris was judging one of the
yeah,
crew
he was
members.
judging. So
Yeah. You know what? You know what this reminded me of when I was
mm,
looking at it? I'm like, yo, this is, and like it was only one day, but it felt like a festival. But this is like Outbreak or IBE.
that's what people were saying. It's like the not the new Outbreak, but just similar to Outbreak in the feel.
That's when I was watching them, like, I know this is only one day, but good. You know what I'm saying? Yes, keep it one day. Like that's you guys did everything you wanted to do in that one day, and you did it.
Dude.
I remember, like, listen, don't get me wrong, like Outbreak was fun. Yalta Summer Jam, that's another one. And they don't really, I don't think they do that anymore, but like I went to Yalta Summer Jam and that was just party breaking, like, you got your fill. But I think sometimes what happens is when those jams go on like all the time,
Yeah.
there's really not much else to do. You're like, fuck, I guess I gotta go break again. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck, I guess if there's nothing else to do, I guess I'll just fucking break.
I'll give credit to Outbreak and IBE because they use the town that you're in. So you're not like beholden to this one thing. And if you don't do that, you're kind of screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, listen, shout out to Freestyle Session, but if you get tired of breaking when you're at Freestyle Session, there's not a whole lot for you to do.
Not at the current venue that they're at. Laboom.
Yeah, Laboom is kind of like out there, you know? I mean, you can get some Mexican food, but it's like if you're there, you got to be there, and that's pretty much what you're doing all day.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, credit to Elephant Graveyard for kind of creating an aesthetic for themselves.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that shit was like the using linoleum, having that in different spots, like then using that for the main floor, using that warehouse, the advertising, the flyers, it's funny. And then there was like another event on Thursday,
yeah, they did like a footwork battle.
like a mini event. It was like a footwork and some other thing, but it was cool because they didn't do it Friday. They did it on Thursday. So you get there, you do a little bit of, you warm up on Thursday. Friday, you get to chill.
They did
And
the
then
workshop, which had like 100 people, dude. It was crazy.
Den,
Yeah.
bro, I love Den. That's the homie, man. Um, Shout out to Den. Like that dude is a fucking master when it comes to like I when I went to Yalta, I stayed with Roughneck Attack
Ah,
and I took a workshop that they were teaching. I just was there with them, so I just kind of like watched.
yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like everything that they were saying, I'm oh yeah. Yeah.
Dude, well, it
So
carried because like he had like 100 people take his workshop, which is crazy. Nobody can really pull that in the United States in terms of
bro,
workshop.
hot take. Den is like the original style that I think influenced a certain generation of dancers that majority of them were at Elephant Grave.
Mm, I could see that. They're very intentional with their judges picks, so I could see them making that connection.
Yeah.
Dude, all in all, like kind of a flawless execution. I'm really happy for them, and we've been touting their praises for just a really long time on a lot of the stuff that we do, and for a good reason. I feel like they're a great example of the best of our generation. Like we just talked about Rockstrite being like a goat, and there's events of your generation that were great events, but this one will be remembered forever. Like I hate that I didn't go. That's crazy. Like what if they just decided to pop out and be like, "Hey guys, two was enough for us. Thank y'all for sharing." I think I would like run into an ocean because I'd be really sad that I missed the second one.
Well, you do live in San Diego,
Yeah,
so
I could do that
you
hypothetically.
literally can do that.
Oh shoot. Well, yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to the whole team.
Yeah. I mean, just like watching it
Dude, even
was
the
it was
footage. I love when footage is good to watch.
oh
Like,
yeah, the Just Another Break channel.
dude, yeah,
Woo! Chef's kiss. God
heat.
damn. He
God
cooked.
damn.
This
It
dude
felt like a
cooked.
movie. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to watch even the top 16 battle. Well, by the way, first of all, they had like over 100 crews and prelims. Crazy. So for the top 16, even the first round battles were going to be fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were. They really were.
I watched the top 16 battles. So I actually watched, I think, the finals first, but then
Yeah.
I'm like, I wanna it's kind of like I read the end of the book just to decide I'm gonna now read the beginning of the book.
Dude, 808 had some great battles. They're a really entertaining group.
The final battle was fantastic.
Yeah. Even their
Final
battle
battle was
against
great.
Ryan and Conrad and Scarface, that one was really good too. Um, wow. Wow. But
Yeah.
you also went to another event this weekend. You went to Queen's Conquest.
Queen's Conquest. Yeah, listen. Shout out to New York Collective.
Dude, they're
I
always
love
putting
those guys. I love when they put on events for the kids. And like my situation. Like I basically am able to go to a jam for a certain amount of time before I have to go home.
Yeah,
And that's what I think I appreciate about their jams is that they start earlier in the day. So I have this time to I take care of my dog, I make sure he's good, and then I go knowing that I'm have to cut at like a certain time.
yeah.
So I get to go and I just get to hang out and I get to get down a little bit. And this was a big deal for me because they used the
I
display
saw
mode
that.
system, which was great. I was hype on that. And
It
the
looked great too.
venue, yeah, like, cause nice and big, and that's how it should be used.
Facts.
Um, and I'm not saying so like, shout out to anyone that's ever used it, but I've never seen it up close personal like that before. So
Mhm.
that felt really cool.
That was really cool.
And the venue that it was in was fire, bro.
Dude, it looked really nice. Like the even when you put like the entrance, like I like when people put some thought into where they're gonna throw their jams.
Yeah. And like, I went to the Queen's Conquest before and
Mhm.
they had it at a different event, a different venue. And I remember just like I walked up to them like this is a different place. And I knew it was a different place. I just didn't, it didn't register right away.
Mhm.
So, and then as soon as I walked in, I walked out, got my phone out because I'm like, I need to record this entrance.
Dude, no, it was fire. I mean, great job on the video, by the way. But still, the New York Collective seems to consistently be putting out like good events, and you need those. You know what I mean? That
They put
creates
out,
consistency in the community.
yeah, and it was really, really cool because the vibe of the kids
Hmm.
and just like the overall vibe of the crowd was like buffed up by the venue. Like everything felt like, oh, the venue's cool, the vibe is cool, the crowd is
Yeah.
cool, the kids look fresh. Like I've been like going to these events for them for years now. So I'm watching like these kids from like when they were starting out to like getting better, and you see them really improving, and you're like,
Mhm.
yo, this kid's getting good. And they're starting to care about how they dress, what they wear. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like that matters. So to see them now kind of create this character and to have that character be represented in how they like in the fit and in the dance is pretty cool. It's pretty tight. And you're seeing like all the different teachers and the schools and they're going up against each other. They're teaming up together. It's really it's nice. It's really fun.
They're growing as a generation together. That's tight.
They really are. I mean, like I'm remembering, San Diego, and because in New York I didn't really meet a lot of kids that broke before I moved to San Diego. It
Yeah.
was usually, I think, honestly, like my generation of kids, we were like the younger ones, and now I'm a fucking OG apparently. But in San Diego, I remember, there was Pebbles and Doom
Yeah. Jihad.
and Jihad, you know.
That's it.
Yeah, that's kind of it. And Jihad was even older than they were.
Yeah.
So,
That's
like the youngest ones was like Pebbles and Doom. And, you know, yeah, like they didn't have other kids to really like bounce the stuff off.
yeah.
Now, I see like in San Diego, like there's so many little kids going to take workshops. Like, I see like Ken, Rock Ken always be posting like footage of like random kids doing power. And I'm just like, whoa, when, when
They're
did You know what I'm
It's
saying?
it's cool again to break. You know what I mean? Like people want to break now again out of nowhere for some reason too. Like it became appealing to kids over the last couple years, which is tight. We need that.
Yeah.
I thought it was dead for good. I was like, damn, nobody wants to break anymore. But no, it's changed. There's a
It's
new air.
well, because I think a lot of it is parents are becoming involved, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's what I saw when I was at that jam, when I was at Queen's Conquest. I saw a lot of parents. Parents are going with their kids and they're investing in their kids'
Mhm.
success. Shout out to B.Y. Junski. I know his dad, I just see him around and I see how excited he gets when his son hits a move. And
Mhm.
then after the jam, he goes up, he's like, yo, man, you killed it. I'm like, wow. That's cool.
Good
That's so
parent.
cool as a parent to see that, to do that with your kid. Um, so I think parents are the vibe, it's a positive experience, right?
Mhm.
There's nobody is angry. Everyone is aware of what the situation is,
Right.
and it's a safe place for your kid to compete and try to get good. And then, and the fact that they also have the adults come later and the kids want to stay and watch the adults, and then
Okay.
the parents can stay and watch the adults. Like it's they do a good job kind of hitting all these different demographics. And for me, like I said, I get to just kick it.
Yeah. For a
Like
set
that's
amount of
for me.
time.
Yeah. I get to hang, and yeah. And sometimes they'll be like, hey man, like we'll have questions about Break Connect, we'll talk about different features and stuff like that. For me, like honestly, I really just wanted to get footage of display mode.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's it was pretty perfect. And then, around like 6:30, I'm like, I gotta go.
Doing
Peace,
the
peace.
Irish goodbye, the and fade away. Even though
Yeah.
you're Russian, is there a Russian goodbye?
Yeah, it involves a lot of vodka though.
Oh,
And I don't drink, so.
maybe not at a kids event.
Goodbye, kids.
Good luck, kid. Pouring it out in front of everybody. So wow, successful weekend for the breaking scene on both the West and the East Coast.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And you know what? Based on what I could see, these events succeeded without any like major sponsors.
Yeah, I was really, really thinking about that. Like, I was just like, wow. I mean, could you imagine Red Bull wanting to sponsor Elephant Graveyard and Elephant Graveyard being like, no, we're good,
I could totally imagine that. Like they
right?
I don't think they would do it. But I mean, if it
Or
was a Red Bull affiliated event, you would have seen like the coolers. Like that's always a dead giveaway. If there's a cooler there, they're getting Red Bull money, brother.
yeah, as long as there's somebody to pick that cooler up.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be salty about that.
Oh man,
Um,
deep lore.
yeah,
Dude, but yeah, like that's really impressive. And usually, you would see a sponsor logo on the flyer naturally, and I didn't think I saw one for either of the events.
no, that was purely a that event, both of those events was just the community coming out and
Yeah,
supporting something that people are trying to do.
it's fire.
That
Well,
was
that
beautiful.
that's a perfect segue to what we're going to talk about today, to be honest with you.
Yeah, sponsorships.
Bounces. Bounces from the brand.
Sponsors.
Well, I guess the most easy way to start this off, sponsors. Why do we need them? Why do we need them? When you saw what Elephant Graveyard did, why would anybody else need any sponsors if they could do it? Couldn't we all do it?
I think the short answer is yes. Um, so I don't have anything against sponsors,
Me
to be
neither.
completely honest. I think sponsors are great for the scene.
Mhm.
You know, the fact that Red Bull sponsors a lot of athletes, a lot of dancers, as does Monster, as does Nike, as does Puma. Like, definitely not everyone, not in the same country, but those things still exist, and they do allow these dancers to have a certain lifestyle, to be
Yeah.
able to take care of themselves and their family. So I definitely have to appreciate that. And Red Bull puts on events that people go to and check out. Like they do hit the mainstream. So you have to, again, acknowledge the fact that things like that bolster the breaking community. Um, the thing is, though, with sponsorship do come stipulations.
Yeah.
And I gotta give like we've been already saying, giving a lot of credit to Alpha Graveyard, New York Collective, that they were able to create something really dope without those sponsors,
Yeah.
without stipulations, without strings. Um,
It's an important thing to acknowledge because I generally feel like people's idea of like a major event always has a sponsor attached to it. Like just think about like freestyle session, even like Pro Breaking Tour had all the Pro Breaking Tour events are sponsored by an entity, a corporation. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore, but at one point it was Snipes or Jack in the Box or
yep.
whatever. And like people think like, oh, major event equals like a lot of prize money equals big sponsor. And I just want to provide examples to people that it shows like you don't necessarily need a major sponsor, a corporate sponsor to have a big event. And I'm
Yeah.
glad Elephant Graveyard was able to provide that example and do it twice, by the way, because the first year they also didn't have like major sponsors. I think they had like more community level sponsors. Like I sponsored as Break NG the first year. And I think there was like Mav One maybe might have sponsored that too. So a lot of local communities, but we'll get into that category. But in terms
Yeah.
of like corporate sponsors, like you don't need it to have a successful event. I will say though, like one thing that is depending on what your goal is in the event hosting space, like corporate sponsors do provide a lot of legitimacy for
Yeah.
your event and what you do as a person or organization or whatever. Like I said, if your goal is only to like throw a breaking event for the breakers by the breakers and that's like all that you want to do, then you don't necessarily need anyone to co-sign that. But if your goal is to like climb up and get like bigger amounts of money in the future and build all of this legacy of I don't know, like having good corporate ties and a good working relationship with many brands, then maybe that's the route you want to go. But at the end of the day, like I think the most effective sponsorships are the ones that happen at a lower level.
Yes and no. I think for me, I look at sponsorships as who gets to decide. So let's say you do get sponsored by a big corporation.
Hmm.
Like, what are the stipulations? Like who gets to decide what happens, how they show up? Can it be
Yeah.
enough that you just say thank you and put their logo on the flyer, or do you need to kind of plaster a flyer, like plaster their logo on a big banner at your event? Do you need to have things run a certain way? I think that one of the big problems with breaking and our relationship with bigger sponsors is I feel like, and you've had more experiences with this than I have. I've had a little bit, but they make the call and we don't really have a say in how that goes. And it's kind of, if we don't like it, well, cool, then we don't have to give you anything, you know? Is that
Yeah.
about right?
You're pretty spot on. I think usually it, how do I word this? With bigger sponsors, there's certain things that you just feel like you no longer want to associate your event with. Like cussing on the mic is a good one. Like, if you're getting sponsored by Aquafina and there's Aquafina reps or whatever at the event, do you really want to be saying like, "Oh shit, that was the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen"? No, you don't want to do that. It's not a good look, right? Like, and that this is where we start talking about like, well, authenticity of whatever and like how does that water down? and I think people have to understand like corporate sponsors sometimes you have to meet them halfway somewhere at some point. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what you were to what you're saying. Like they have some say. They have some say, whether it's, what you can say on the mic, whether it's like where their logo's placed. You might hate to see a Red Bull sticker on the floor, but that 30,000 or whatever that you got might speak volumes enough to make you want to do it. So,
I mean,
yeah,
if you're getting 30,000
if
from
you're
a
getting
from
30,000, which you're not, you're probably
yeah,
not from
you're
Red Bull,
definitely not getting you might be getting 3,000 at most.
but
If
well,
you
but yeah, I would say for what it's worth, there aren't even that many corporate sponsors that would put money into the breaking scene like that. So
Yeah,
you're really talking about the major players of Monster, Red Bull,
Snipes.
Snipes, Jack in the Box. That's it.
Yeah, and that's I think that's kind of like my point is that, it's those sponsors are few and far in between. So when a corporate sponsor does decide to kind of, give you any kind of money, they get to make all the calls. That's what it feels like.
Yeah,
And, breaking is in a place where I think we're finally seeing that maybe we don't need to be in a place where we're compromising something,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. No, we're seeing that in real time, actually.
And I'll just get this out real quick. When we can show all these corporate sponsors that, hey, if you want to be a part of this, that's cool, but we don't need you to be a part of
Right.
this. That's when they're actually going to give us more money and have us make the terms.
I like that line of thinking. I didn't think of it that way, but it's true. I could see a world where, I don't know, Monster looks at the elephant graveyard footage and they're like, whoa, wowza. That's a lot of people. Would you like a big M on the floor? No. We'll pay you triple, bud. And then they're like, okay, a little bit. It's one inch by 1 inch in the bottom right corner. And then they're like, oh, of course, here you go.
I mean, like, listen, like, remember when that the Vans in the Circle Jam, the first one?
Go to gym. Yeah.
Go to Jam, and there was like Monster was there. Nobody was like batting an eye. They were like, cool. Jam was dope. Everyone had fun. Monster was there. Everything was a good time. You know what I'm saying? Because like the right people were the ones that got to like dictate how things went.
Yeah.
Because Vans wasn't like, oh, we need that Monster money. No,
No.
Vans was like, you can be there, but you're not telling us how to run this shit.
Oh, dude. If anything, I think I remember seeing more Vans propaganda than anything. Like the big shoe. You remember
Of course,
that?
we were literally at Vans headquarters.
Yeah. But that's like because it was titled like Vans in the Circle, you knew, it's a Vans event. But nobody knew what that would entail, right? So I think you almost brought a tear to my eye. Like that was probably the most perfect like corporate type event I've ever been to.
Yeah. So
Just the right balance of like, all right, like this isn't my every jam, but then it was also like, whoa, like it's kind of raw here in a cool way. Like, damn.
there's there's certain balances
Yeah.
that exist with getting sponsors and having corporate versus local. It definitely like you got to learn how to not play the game, but I think you got to learn that the money you're going to get from a sponsor isn't really going to solve that much for you.
Yeah, true.
And if you want to take that money, that's fine. Just be careful what like that comes with. And if you don't want to take that money because you don't want to compromise anything, reaching out to your community is definitely another way to go and just dipping into your own pocket.
You went to the El Proud School of Segways because you beat me to
I
it.
know, bro. I know.
Yeah, that's That's exactly where I was headed. That I think the more effective sponsorships are, at least for the breaking community, they tend to be in that space where it's like people that represent an organization or an entity. Obviously, they're not making millions and millions of dollars like Red Bull or Monster, but you know that you know two things. One, that there's a person that loves the scene, that loves the culture, that is behind that entity. And you know that, however it is that they have that money to provide it, that they're spending it full well knowing that they believe in your event and that they want your event to succeed. Because if you get money from Red Bull, you're not meeting Mr. Red Bull himself at any point in time, and he's like, "I can't wait to see what you do with this money." No, no. You might meet one person that has that title, that position for 1 year, and that next year, that's not even your contact anymore for how to get that money.
Yeah, or you'll never meet them and never talk to them and they'll ghost you.
Right, right, exactly. But but there are people like Mav One that
Yeah.
sponsor events. They they sponsor events, man. Like I see it all the time. That's how we even thought of getting him as a guest.
Yeah.
And then you realize after speaking to him, like, dude, he really loves this shit. Like he loves the scene. He understands that it's progressing forward and that you have to support those events that are putting it on the line. And I mean, I myself as Breaking G have sponsored other events as well, not just the Elephant Graveyard. And I think that's like how you have to prove that community really reigns above all. If you can provide that 400, $500 for someone to put up more prize money or bring in a better judge or whatever, like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's the people that are from the community that will understand why you need that money. And it feels, I think, a little bit better on both sides to be like, yeah, I'm getting money from this guy that I respect and that I am grateful for. And then on my hand, it's like, well, I get to support this event, not just with my attendance, but with my funds. It's mutually beneficial.
Yeah. No, it definitely feels good. When I can, I definitely like use Breaking to sponsor events.
Yes, you've done that
Um,
for some of my events. Thank you.
yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate goal with Break Connect, to be
Right.
honest.
And that's perfectly a great way to get into what we really wanted to talk about, which is we don't need sponsors. Sponsors are nice. Sponsors are always going to exist. They're always part of the scene. But what's an alternative to sponsors? See how I did that? I was like,
Yeah.
what's an alternative to sponsors? What what kind of system could the scene benefit from where the people that are involved have a say?
Yeah.
What
So great segue. Well, that's the system I'm trying to build with Break Connect. Um, there's two ways we can go about it, right? The first way we have the Patreon set
Mhm.
up. But the Patreon was primarily more as a proof of concept, to see if people would even be interested in something like that.
Yeah,
The overall goal was that, listen, there's like almost 12,000 people on BreakConnect right now, by the way. We're like 11,800 something. It's kind of
that's
crazy.
that's crazy.
And, Patreon, you pay a monthly fee to support a cause
Yes.
or something that you believe in, something that you're passionate about. So if everyone on Patreon, sorry, if everyone on BreakConnect was a Patreon subscriber and paid $3 per month, that's like $33,000 a month,
Yeah. Damn.
right?
Yeah.
So
Heavy.
even after I cover BreakConnect's expenses, server fee, paying for like email, developer,
Yeah.
potentially maybe even hire a designer with that money, that could leave like high 20s every month. And then that money could essentially be used to sponsor events on BreakConnect that people on BreakConnect get to vote
Mm.
for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, like obviously the event would have to be on BreakConnect.
Of course.
It would have to use the BreakConnect system, but that's it. Those are the stipulations,
A lot of events already do that for free. So
right?
imagine if they got paid to do that.
Well, now they're not getting paid. There's, like everyone on BreakConnect, we would essentially like vote. Okay, here are the events coming up. And this would be like every month. Imagine that shit every month, bro.
It'd be crazy.
We could either sponsor one event for 20K, 25K, or split that money up between multiple events.
Yeah, if all events on Break Connect got 1K, that would be nuts. Imagine that.
Imagine that. And should we segue to the next thing now?
Show me how well you've learned from the Old Proud School of Segways.
So the Patreon is harder to get people invested in because they're just kind of like, you show them when you talk about the vision as is, it's exciting. Like, whoa, that's a lot of people, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then you have to ask everyone to just give me that money every month and you'll see it happen.
Yeah.
So it's hard to do that. So you have to create something that people are just going to use, and that's going to make you money on the back end, the payment system.
Payments. Payments processing.
Yeah. People are going to either use Eventbrite or they're going to have people pay at the door with Venmo or whatnot. Well, what if there was a way to make everyone's life easier that, you scan a QR code, you get checked in automatically, so you don't gotta like worry about did I check into the event? I don't know. Because if your QR code got scanned, you're checked in.
Boom.
You're selling your tickets, everything's happening in this one place. And then I take my commission fee, $2 per ticket, right? And then at the end of every month, 5% of the profit is used to sponsor an event.
Boom.
Well, here's the thing. When the payment system launches, the first $1,000 that is made, not like 5% of the profit, but the first $1,000 that I make from ticket sales, I'm going to use that to sponsor an event on Break Connect. And we all get to vote on what that event is.
Oh, it's like a like patient zero almost of the program.
Yeah.
Nice. Dude,
So,
that's like literally only 500 tickets sold.
yeah, 500 tickets equals $1,000 equals we'll sponsor an event on Break Connect. Now, this is obviously going to be like the first time. After that, I'm going to have to, make some of that money back.
Of
But
course, of course.
the point is, like, we get to decide how big that gets. We get to decide how big that 5% is. Like, think about 5% of Instagram, 5% of Instagram's profits.
Insane amount of money.
We
Nut.
can do that with Break Connect
We
as a
will do that with
community.
Break Connect. Well, here's a question. Is this something that is going to be like the start of Breakneck's impact on the scene, or is this something that you see being like I guess what I'm saying is like, is your idea for this program to be like just one way that will help, I don't want to say grow the scene, but like nourish it? Are there going to be further like, I don't know, like would you be a like what I'm trying to say is like, would you eventually be a corporate sponsor for events?
I don't know if I'd ever consider myself a corporate sponsor for events. The whole thing is what I'm trying to do is take myself as a corporation out of it.
Mm,
Because the whole point is, as a community, we get to make this decision together.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I think there would have to be a process that gets ironed out to keep it fair. But the whole point is, listen, I've been preaching self-sustainability in the scene since I started Break Connect. This is the start of that. You know what I'm
Tight.
saying? Like,
Yeah,
we
that's
get to
true.
decide if it's 5% of 100, a
100.
thousand, 10,000, 100,000, you know, and the payment system is just the first part. Because for me, this is kind of what I'm saying. Like, when people see that there's like this constant influx of money in breaking and dancing, street dance in
Mhm.
general, I know we talk about breaking a lot, but I just want people to understand that all street dance is going to be made self-sustainable. When Red Bull, Monster, Nike, when they all see that, oh, they don't need us. They're doing this on their own. and people are flooding to these events, you know, because maybe with Break Connect, we can be like, okay, you know what? This event got 3 grand in sponsorship money. Maybe tickets are $15 instead of 25, so more people get to go and stuff
Hmm.
like that. Maybe we help with advertising, with marketing. The point is, when these sponsors see that we don't need them, they'll come to us with terms that we will agree on, not they will agree on. I don't think it should ever fall on one entity to control everything,
Of course, of course.
but I think what I want Breakneck to do is create opportunities for the dance scene to essentially control how everything is, be the masters of their own destiny.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think people have wanted that for a while. You hear complaints all the time about people mentioning like, "Oh, there isn't enough sponsors in the scene." What if the scene sponsored the scene? And you do that by already doing
What you're
what you were
doing.
going to do anyways, which is pay for admission to an event. You were already going to do it. You have to do it. Just do it on Break Connect. That it's almost like when you go to the grocery store and you buy a couple things, it says, "Oh, your total's $23.72. Would you like to round up that 28 cents to da 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 da?" I know it's a little bit different than that, but like that 28 cents goes somewhere, right? And if
Yeah.
like everybody donated 28 cents, like, oh shit, that becomes $2,800 or whatever. So I see it in that way. And I hope that when payments releases, which is
Really soon.
really soon, people start looking at it as an opportunity for not just like their event to have a more structured, organized approach, but for the scene to benefit in the long run. Like you choosing to use payments isn't just beneficial to your event, it's beneficial to events moving forward. So in a
Yeah.
way, if you really think about it, you're a sponsor for a future event because you just gave $2 of each of your ticket transactions to an event down the line.
We all become sponsors. I mean, that's the
You'll become
reason
a
that I
sponsor.
want like, people on Break Connect to be the ones making these decisions with us versus us making the decisions for everyone else.
Right, right. And I mean, there's a lot of fun changes down the line for Break Connect, um, some of which people don't even know about yet. But I think it'll all bleed into a more friendly experience for everybody. Like
Yeah.
you'll feel more integrated than you've ever have, if I'm not mistaken. So
I mean, I'm really excited about a lot of the stuff that's coming in.
yeah,
The other big thing is schools. I know we have like this lo-fi experience right now, I think of it. But if you're a dance school, right? Like imagine having all the same features as dance studios currently have and paying for it, but doing it on Break Connect. I mean, listen, the I don't want to get off subject, but the point
right.
is
There's fun changes. That's it.
the I always looked at, I'm like, listen, I know I want Break Connect to make money, but I don't want that money to be just for me.
Yeah.
I definitely want to make my living with Break Connect being my primary source of income and supporting me and supporting my passion and my dreams. I mean, that is actually my passion and my dream is that.
Yeah.
But the other half of it is then doing that and then creating like this experience where that's it. Like it becomes just this self-running machine where that money is constantly being reinvested into the scene, into events, into dancers, like we'll get to decide how big this gets.
And hopefully people buy into that vision, right? Like I'm really excited to see everybody else react to it and see. I mean, see it in practice. I think when people see it in practice for the first time and see that like you are giving out $1,000 to an event, like that'll make people want to do it more. Like it's always the first one that might be hard to come around, but once people see it in practice, like it'll be like, damn, like whoa, 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 well, we should all just be doing this for payment system, and then down the line we could all benefit. Because I mean, if I really thought about it mathematically. If I was like, oh yeah, I sold 100 tickets, I gave Felix $2 for every ticket, that's $200 given. Down the line, that could be $1,000 for my event.
Yeah.
So would you trade 200 for 1,000? Yeah, baby. That's better math than ever, dude.
I mean, you could think of it like that, but the way I'm thinking about it is there any other platform out there that is willing to make that statement?
No, no way. No. Zero,
I'm,
zero cheese.
yeah. So that's kind of, I think Elephant Graveyard, Queen's Conquest. I mean, like there's plenty of events if we can go down the list. I mean, Film Cipher, you know what I'm saying? Smoked in Ohio. Was Smoked in Ohio sponsored by anyone?
Not that I remember, no.
But these events are events that people came out to support because they love the product of that thing. And I'm like, yo, let's make that even bigger. Let's make it a thing that's beyond just showing up. Let's show up and
And yeah,
support, you know what I'm saying? And I think with Breakneck we can do that. Well, no, I know with Breakneck we can do that.
I mean, the plan is already there. It's now just putting it into play and making sure that it happens.
Yeah,
Breathe it in, Felix. That's change in the air.
I hope so.
I hope so too. I think
That's the pod.
that's the pod. We should
Damn,
probably,
bro, we fucking like, but
now
like
we
I
got
think
to
that's
do a Russian goodbye.
oh yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye, vodka everywhere.
All right, bro.